Good evening, everybody. How are we this evening? It's Wednesday, the 23rd of March, and it's me, Annie Bennett, home baking business specialist, coming to you this evening. I'm coming via StreamYard, and I would be delighted if you could give me some comments in the box. For me to see your name, you need to let StreamYard know who you are and give them permission to use your name. But it doesn't matter if you can't be faffed with that. That's a bit of a faff. Just put your name in the comments. That's absolutely fine. And if you could also perhaps do some thumbs up and hearts and things, what Facebook will then do is it will tell other people that we are here, because it's been very Facebook's been quite belligerent recently, and it's not giving people messages about things. So lots of thumbs up and things will make Facebook go, oh, hang on, something's happening here. We need to let people know this is happening. Oh, I've got a comment. Hi, Facebook user. How are you? Oh, we've got some people on. Hello, people. If you are watching after tonight, I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't see. Oh, there it is. Let me know if you're watching on replay. I say this every time. I really should have this on the ticker, that I love it when I see that people have watched previous lives. So do let me know. If you're watching this on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, then feel free to subscribe. I'd love to have some more subscribers, and do some likes and thumbs up on there as well. That would be great. Let's get rid of that. Excellent. So how are we all today? It's been a nice day down here. I believe it's been quite nice weather all over the place today. I believe this is summer, so make the most of it, folks. I think this might be all we're going to get, because last year I don't remember last year being particularly good. I think it was lockdown, wasn't it? The first lockdown where the weather was just lovely and we all felt we were on holiday. But we haven't really had weather like that since. So fingers crossed we'll get some of that this year. Evening, good evening. I can't see your name, unfortunately, but hello, it's lovely to have you here. How lovely. Yes, lots of hearts and thumbs up and things, and then people will see that we are here and join us. It's been beautiful in Wales, has it? Oh, I love Wales. It's always beautiful, even when it rains. We used to go on holiday a lot when I was younger. We used to do the camping thing, which sort of put me off camping a little bit, but we used to go all over England and Scotland and Wales camping, and it would invariably rain. The Bennetts would go on holiday and it would rain. We stopped the drought of 76 by going on holiday, but even in the rain, Wales is just beautiful country. Anyway, right, I digress. I waffle, as is my wont on these Wednesday evenings. Now, this evening, I am going to be talking to you about knowing your worth, which is a really important thing for us business owners to know and to think about, because unless you value yourself and value your skills, you're not going to pass that on to your customers. Rain is the Welsh summer, yes. It is. So yeah, I'm going to talk through a couple of things for you to think about this evening. There's a little bit of tough love in there, because sometimes I do a little bit of tough love. You've got to have that sometimes. But yeah, I'll be talking a little bit about confidence and a little bit about how valuable knowing your worth is. Well, the first thing I'm going to be talking about, which will sort of lead on to the confidence thing, I'll tell you a little bit about the brain. Bear with me, because this will make sense in a minute. I'll tell you a little bit about the brain. For those of you that perhaps, if you're a teacher, you probably know all this already. But if you're not, it's worth knowing, because it explains a lot of things. Okay. So your brain is generally thought of to be made up of three different parts. You've got what's known as the reptilian, or some call it the dinosaur brain. You've got your limbic brain, and you've got your neocortex, and those three bits go together in your brain. Now, the reptilian bit, which is at the back at the bottom here, that is also sometimes known as the caveman brain. It's your instinct brain. Okay, you've probably heard of the phrase fight or flight. Well, that is what that reptilian brain is. That's its job. That part of the brain senses danger and puts us on alert if it thinks that we're in any kind of danger. So when we start to get stressed, that's the part of the brain that goes, hang on, something's up here. I need to do something about this. And so if you understand that about the brain, that there's that part of it that's working for you, looking out for any risks, it does explain sometimes a lot of our behavior. Now, very, very quickly, the next part of the brain is the limbic system, which is all your emotions. Okay. Unless your emotions are sort of settled, if you like, your brain can't then very easily use the next bit, which is the neocortex, which is your thinking brain and analyzing brain. Okay, which is why when perhaps you're ecstatic about something's really good's happened, you're really happy and you're really ecstatic, you say, oh, I'm so happy, I can't get my brain in gear. Well, that's because your limbic brain is being so overactive, it's not allowing you to use the bigger bit of the brain. Okay, the neocortex bit. And that's sort of basic. And when we're really sad, or when we fall in love or anything like that, all those really strong emotions stop us from accessing our thinking brain. And that's sort of how it works. It's obviously a lot more complicated than that, but that's basically how it works. So when you come to think of this reptilian brain, that little caveman instinct brain, it's there to sense danger, to keep us safe. So if it senses any risk whatsoever, it's in there and it's doing things, it's telling us things, it's telling us to get out of that situation. Which is why whenever we have a negative experience about something, it generally stays in our memory much stronger than a positive one, because a negative memory, our brain sees as we're in danger. Anything negative that happens to you, there's an element of danger there, and our brains don't like that. So our brains want to keep us safe, and it'll do what it can to stop you feeling that again. It'll try and keep you away from it. Okay. So it'll attach a lot of importance on those negative things and those negative thoughts that you have. Which is why they often bubble to the surface a lot more, which is why, when you're creating something, you're making a cake, often it's the negative thoughts that come up first. Oh, that's not very good. Oh, I've done that wrong. Oh, it's overbaked. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Okay. Because that's your brain sort of kicking in oh, there might be danger here. It sounds a bit daft, doesn't it? But that's sort of basically what's happening. And our natural instinct is to attach far more importance to the negative things that happen than to the positive. That's sort of human nature because of that danger element. In my blog, which I've written, which sort of goes with this, I've talked about, when you butter some toast, or you put jam on some toast and you drop it on the floor. If it lands jam and butter side down, I don't know about you, but my instinct is, every time I drop it, it jam side down. Every time. But if it doesn't land jam side down, you just think, that's annoying. You pick it up and you throw it away or whatever, and you get on with it. But the very fact that it's the negative has happened, the jam has gone, it's landed on the carpet and there's all sorts of things going on. Your brain attaches far more emotion to that and far more importance to it, and it makes you remember it. So when we talk about self-worth and valuing ourselves and confidence, what we've got to do is allow the positive thoughts as much room, if not more room, than the negative ones. Okay, we've got to balance it out, because our brain naturally doesn't attach importance to the positive things. Okay, so one thing that you can do and you can do this weekly if you like, sort of be a regular exercise, is to actually just stop for a minute and think about all the positive things that have happened, particularly, business wise. If we're talking, confidence in business, think about your business. Oops, knocking the computer. So think about all those skills that you've learned. When you make a cake, think about all those skills you've learned that have helped you create that cake. Okay. So you've got the knowing the recipe, you've got knowing how to mix the batter, you've got knowing how to line the tin, you've got knowing what temperature to put it in the oven, you've got knowing when it's baked. All those steps you have learnt, putting the cake together, buttercreaming it, to say nothing about all the decoration that you can do, your stenciling and your drips and all those kind of things. Okay, all those skills that you've learnt are positive things that make you good at what you've done. Okay. And then, of course, there's all the obstacles that you've overcome to have your business as well, because there have been, and if you think about it, before you had a business and what you've had to do to get where you are now. You might surprise yourself. You might think, oh my goodness, yes, I have actually done quite a lot. The fact that you've registered your business, you've perhaps had an inspection, or you've not had an inspection, but you've prepared for it. You've set up all your, your insurances and all those kind of things, all those admin-y faffy things. You've set up your terms and conditions. You've done all of those things, which haven't been easy, but you've done them. So think about all those positive things that you've done. And if you concentrate on those, you will then start to you'll grow a bit and you'll think, oh yeah, stand a bit taller. I am actually quite good at what I do here. So you need to retrain your brain, because it's still acting on caveman instinct. You need to tell your brain, actually, the positive things that have happened to you are as important as the negative. In fact, they're more important than the negative. So retrain your brain. So know that you are good at what you do, because you've just thought about all those things. And if it helps, do it weekly, do it daily, before you go to bed at night, before you go to sleep. Think about all those things you've done today that you're actually quite skilled at. Yeah. You might not see it as a skill, but the people that are ordering your cakes definitely see it as a skill, because they couldn't do it. That's why they ask you to do it. So know that you are good at what you do. If you worry that you're not very good at what you do, then what you've got to do is sit and think about that and think, well, am I actually not very good? Is there something I want to improve? Is my buttercream not as smooth as I'd like it to be? Is my, sugar pasting, are my edges not very sharp? Or are my donuts or my brownies not as this, that, or the other that I want them to be? In which case, pinpoint what it is that you want to improve and do something about it. Yeah, there's no point in saying, oh, my brownies aren't very good, oh, my this aren't very good, I'm not very good at that. Don't just say you're not very good at it and leave it at that. Find out how to be good at it. That's how we progress. That's how we grow. Okay, that determination to improve is far more valuable than a lot of things, a lot of skills that you'll have. Okay. And I know that some people we've talked about, local bakers in your area, and feeling inferior and feeling, oh, I'm not as good as them. And I can't have a business because I'm not as good as Doris down the road who does all these fabulous cakes. Well, have a look at what Doris down the road does. There was one point when Doris down the road was actually where you are now. She didn't have a business, from birth. At some point, she decided to set up her business, and she's learned all the skills to get where she is. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not as good as so and so and so, make yourself as good as so and so and so. This is where the tough love comes in, folks. There's no point in sitting back and thinking, oh, I'll never do it. There's no point. I'm not as good as they are. You know, I don't know if you followed me and you've listened to my rantings and my wafflings, you'll know that I'm not a big believer in people having natural talent in things. I'm much more a believer of people being perhaps adept to something, but it's the practice and the passion and the keeping on trying that get people really good at what they do. Yeah, people aren't born with the talent to, create a sugar rose that looks realistic. Of course they're not. People aren't born with the skill of creating amazing royal icing houses. They have to learn how to do it, and the process of learning how to do that, they've gone through lots of mistakes and lots of issues. We just don't see that. We see the finished article. We see what they're good at now. We haven't seen all the mistakes that they've made, because they wouldn't show us that, would they? But there have been, believe me, there have been. So if there's something you want to be really, really good at, and you want to be the best in your area for this, that, or the other, then work at it. Then put the hours in, trial your recipes, get better, try things out, and keep going at it until you are, that person, until you are as good as old Doris down the road. Okay. Once you're doing that, you will then, again, you will start to grow. Once you realize that actually you can achieve things by being determined and by being passionate about them, then of course your self-worth will grow as well. Okay. And the other thing that I was thinking about with confidence, and I've talked about this a little bit before as well, is it's important to have what I call an independent confidence. Okay. One that you can have within yourself, that doesn't rely on all your family and friends and people in the Facebook group going, oh, that's fabulous cake, oh, that's wonderful, that's stunning, that's great. If you can still have a sense of self-worth without anybody else telling you how brilliant you are, then you've got it sorted. Okay. Because if you rely on those people to tell you how fabulous you are, and you'll only believe it when they tell you that, then logic dictates that if they tell you then you're not very good or that's rubbish, you've got to believe that as well. Okay, so which do you believe? Do you believe that you're good or you believe you're rubbish? Which one is it? And we all know that a lot of what we do, our creativeness, a lot of it is subject to opinion anyway. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder anyway. So if you can, create your cakes and your bakes, and give yourself the confidence that actually, yes, that is a good job, that I'm pleased with that. That's brilliant. Okay. If people around you then say, oh, that's brilliant, that's okay. I have no problem with people telling me I'm fab. That's quite nice to hear, but I don't rely on it. Okay. Scratching around and, fishing for compliments to build up your confidence is not the way to do it. You've got to do it from within. You've got to have your own confidence so that you can stand on your own 2 feet and say, yes, I know that's good. Okay. Don't be afraid to acknowledge your skills either. It's it's almost a sort of British thing, isn't it? That we're like, oh no, I'm not very good. I'm not very good at that. Oh no, it's rubbish. Oh, no. That sort of self-effacing, anti-proud, humble thing. Yeah, okay. You don't want to go around bragging and saying, I'm the best and I'm wonderful, because people will get really annoyed about that. But telling yourself that you are good at something and acknowledging your skills is a really good way of gaining confidence and knowing your self-worth. Yeah. Give yourself permission to tell yourself you're good. Don't feel guilty about thinking that you're good at something, because it's not a bad thing to think you're good at something. It's just been drummed into us. It's sort of a cultural thing almost. It's been drummed into us that we mustn't be arrogant and we mustn't show off. Whereas actually, having confidence in yourself isn't showing off, and it's not arrogance, it's just confidence. Okay. And once you've got that knowledge secure, once you have that, yeah, I know what I'm doing, you are then in a far better position to cope with any issues and any, difficult situations that might happen in your business. They don't happen all the time, but you're in a better place to deal with them once you have that knowledge. And you can also deal with it with your business head on. I talk about this a lot as well. You've got your business head, you've got your personal head. Don't mix the two up. As a business owner, you are running a business. Okay. If you let your personal feelings get in the way of that, you're likely to stop your business from making money. And that, at the end of the day, is your aim, that your business will make money. It's the aim of the business. Bottom line, isn't it? Okay. If you start letting your heart get in the way, being hurt by a customer's comment and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be fighting that. You've got to develop a bit of a water off a duck's back thing with customers, because we all know that customers can be a strange bunch and can say and do and think the most random things, and can often be not perhaps as honest as we'd like them to be. All those kind of things that are going on. So dealing with something with your business head, have your terms and conditions in place, have your policies in place, and let those dictate to your customers how you act. Yeah. So saying, well, I'm sorry, but it says in my terms and conditions this. Yeah. If you've given them your terms and conditions, they haven't got a leg to stand on. End of story. End of argument, if there is one. Okay. So knowing that and having that confidence gives you that, and having that organization and that backup with all your your terms and conditions and your policies and things, having all that to back you up allows you to be your the business owner rather than just the person who bakes cakes. Okay. And once, of course, you've got that confidence and you've got that business confidence, you can then, that will then feed across all of your business. So we're talking about pricing, knowing your worth with pricing. I've talked about pricing quite a lot, but of course, you know your worth. You know that, why should you give, I'm not necessarily talking about giving cakes away, but I'm talking about giving your skills away by not pricing your cakes properly. Okay. If you price all your ingredients and this, that, and the other, but only give yourself £2 an hour, how are you valuing yourself there? How are you making yourself, how are you telling your customers you're a great business if you're saying, but I only give myself £2, that's all I'm worth, £2 an hour? It's giving a mixed message, isn't it? You've got to give out that message that actually you're a business owner, you're a professional, and so you expect to be paid accordingly. Okay. And your experience is probably your most valuable resource. Okay. You talk about your food mixers and your ovens and things, but your experience is the most valuable thing. So you've got to charge for it. Okay. It's often said, isn't it, that you don't just charge for the hour you take to make the cake. You're actually charging for the years you took learning the skills to make the cake. That's what you're actually charging for, not the actual hour you spent doing it. When I make sugar flowers, I charge at least £30 an hour for doing those, because it's taken me years to learn how to do them. And it's a skill that people want. So if they want it from me, they've got to pay for it. It's as simple as that. If they don't want to pay my rates, they can go somewhere else. It's as simple as that. Business head on. I'm not going to spend hours doing something for less than what I'm worth. It's as simple as that. And if you have that inner confidence that I know what I'm doing, I've got my terms and conditions in place, this is how my business works, then you do give off that air of confidence to your customers, even if perhaps inside you're thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If you give that air of, to your customer, you talk about your terms and conditions and you talk about your processes and this is how I do it, your customers are going to be far more impressed. And far more, okay, this person knows what she's doing, this person's a pro. Okay, it's giving that air, isn't it, of I know what I'm doing. You're all right you're safe with me because I know what I'm doing. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, knowing your worth. In fact, was it Amy yesterday put in the group about friends and family not valuing what you do and thinking that you haven't got a business because you're just baking cakes. And a lot of you are like, yeah, that really resonates with me. That happens in my house as well. Well, there's sort of a way you can deal with that. If you do what I've been talking about, and build your self-confidence and build up your, I'm actually a business here. And have that air of, I'm a business. Yeah. When people ask me what I do, for example, I don't say I'm a baker. I don't even say I'm a wedding cake baker. I say I'm a business owner. That's what I say. What do you do, Annie? I'm a business owner. Oh, what business do you do? I make wedding cakes and I train people how to run home businesses. You see the difference? If you tell people that you're a baker, then that's what they see. They see someone mixing in a wooden spoon with a bowl, and that's sort of all they see. If you tell them you're a business owner, oh, what business do you do? You can then start to make them realize that actually baking cakes is more than just baking cakes. A home baking business is more than just baking cakes. And if you do have friends and family that don't seem to value what you do, it's a question, isn't it, of you can't control what they say and do. You're in no, you can try and persuade them to change their opinion, but actually what they say to you, you're not in control of. What you are in control of is your response to what they say. Okay. And what I would say is, rather than sort of have a running argument with a member of your family about, you've got a business and you can't be expected to do this, that, and the other, just give off that air of, I'm a business owner. It might take a little bit of time. It might be a long, slightly longer job, this one. But get into the habit of talking to people about, you're a business owner. Talk about your business. Do things like, join Facebook groups for business owners. Start learning more about business, how business works, and talk to your family, if they'll listen, about, interesting business things that you've done. Talk about, your profits and your expenses, and, give that air of, I'm running a business here. I'm not just a cake maker. I'm a business owner. And if you feel comfortable, actually talk to them about, the profits that you're making, and they might be pleasantly surprised. Ooh, hang on, you're making that much just by making cakes? Yeah, well, it's not just making cakes, is it? I put in the blog, blind them with business science. So talk about all these things that you do. If your mum says, oh, can you take me to the shops, or do you want to come for lunch? Actually, no, because today is my admin day and I've got to sort out my invoices. I'm not just faffing about with flour and sprinkles. I've got my invoices to sort out and I've got to make sure I do, otherwise I'm not going to get paid. So give off a business vibe. And if that doesn't work and they're still faffing about, they might in the short term, but if you're persistent with that, eventually they will see. But what you then need to do, and I said in the blog, use your profits to go on holiday on your own, and then they'll go, oh, hang on, where did she get that money from? Bit flippant, but you get the idea. You get the idea. And the other thing that I put in the blog, which is a sort of it's perhaps something you should be thinking about anyway, but is really good for making negative people around you think in a different way. Think about what PR you can get. Are there local newspapers to you that would love the story, the rags to riches, the person who set up a bakery and, a bakery business, and they're now thriving, particularly if you've got something slightly unusual, if there's something slightly, unusual about your setup or what you bake or whatever. A double page spread in a newspaper about your business is going to make your negative family go, oh, hang on a minute, what's all this about? They're going to stop and so it's worth thinking about that. It's worth thinking about getting yourself out there, your business out there, and your business message. Always a good thing to think about that. Even if your family are really supportive, it's still a good thing to do, to try and get your name out there. I'm doing a lot with PR at the moment. I'm doing a sort of masterclass course, a membership course, and the lady that runs it is a journalist, and she's been talking to us about how to pitch to things like Prima and Good Housekeeping and all those kind of magazines. So this is my year particularly for really getting out there and getting seen in those places. So I've really learned the value of PR, public relations, getting in newspapers and things, because it will give you that credibility. It will give you that standing of, yes, I run a business, I own a business, I am a business owner. And all that, of course, will add to you knowing your worth, which is what this evening was all about. So I hope that has been useful. So if you do anything from this evening, the thinking of the positive things is a really good exercise to do. Particularly when, if you perhaps, I don't know, had an argument with a member of your family, or you've had something go wrong, or you're feeling a bit, oh, why am I bothering with this? Make your brain stop that, because that is your brain. That is your reptilian brain sensing danger and telling you to stop what you're doing because it senses danger. That's all that is. Okay. So once you've recognized that, you can actually tell your brain to stop it, actually. Stop that, because I'm not going to believe you. And force yourself to think of all those great things that you do. Write them down if you want to. That might be nice, and you can actually look back and read them. And you can think, oh yeah, I have done all that. Look how far I've come. And look how far you've come. On Facebook, you have the time hop things, and you posted your cake from 5 years ago. I don't know about you, but whenever any of mine come up, I go, oh my Lord, look at that. Because you can see how far you've come with those kind of things, can't you? And that's important. That's important for you to know your worth and charge your worth because of all that experience that you've gained. People should pay you for it. Don't give yourself away and don't sell yourselves short. So there we are. That is this evening's waffle. I hope that's been useful to you. Do let me know what you think about that. And if you want to just post in the group all your positives, then please do. I would love to read them. More than happy to do that, because we're a very positive group. So do that. Anyway, right. What am I talking about next week? Oh, next week. Oh, yes. Next week, I'm going to be talking to you. I'm going to be telling you about something that's coming up in April, something I'm organising online for April that you are going to want to know about. So that is what I'm going to tell you about next week. So some exciting news next week, and you don't want to miss it. You'll probably see lots in my social media, and I shall probably post about it in the group as well. But join me next Wednesday night, and you will find out what it's all about. And we need to take it. Oh, thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy. Yes, do take heed, my lovely. Do take heed. Nice for you to join me. Thank you for joining me. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me. And have a lovely week. Have a lovely weekend. Let's fingers crossed that this lovely weather will continue and we can all go and frolic in the daffodils. How lovely. And have a lovely week. And I will see you next week. All right. Toodaloo.